fight fans, so Jake Paul has a new opponent. October 29th, he is going to be facing, or rumored, more likely, these are rumors that are coming out, so these look like it's going to be true. Going to be facing Anderson, the Spider Silva. Definitely a much more higher level opponent for Jake Paul than any of his recent fighters and any fighters that he decided to try to challenge. Because you look at Anderson Silva, I mean, he literally was the GOAT of the middleweights. 100%, there's like nobody that can touch him. Right now, Izzy is doing good, but just the way Anderson Silva did it during his time, good God. There literally was like there wasn't another one like him. And I don't think there ever is going to be. He just completely destroyed some of his opponents. Played with his opponents. Some fights, yes, he did play it safe. But at the same time, he went in there and with his opponents and completely just showed them, nope, you do not belong in here with me. I am the best. I'm the pound for pound. I'm the greatest of all time, and I'm going to show you. I'm not going to play it safe and beat you. I'm going to show you you do not belong in the cage with me. That was Anderson Silva in his heyday. And even now, his two boxing fights, professional boxing fights, was a former middleweight champion. At one time, an undefeated middleweight champion, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, I know what you guys are saying. He is like, he's weak. He was not the greatest. And like, no, nobody's definitely calling him a great. No one's definitely calling him top 10 middleweight of all time. No one's definitely calling him the top fighter of all time. Nothing. But nonetheless, way more experience than Anderson Silva when they went boxing with each other. Way more title fights in boxing than Anderson Silva. Way more time in the ring. Way more experience in the ring. Way more knowledge. Knowing the difference between punching in boxing and punching in the octagon. All boxes checked for Julio Cesar Chavez when Anderson Silva went in there against Julio Cesar Chavez. And Anderson Silva made him look like an amateur. Made him look like an amateur. He looked like he couldn't even be in there with him. Like, no way. Like, basically, Anderson came in there looking like the pro. Julio came in there looking like the rookie. Yeah, it just was just a complete disgrace on Julio's part to get beaten by Anderson that way. Because Anderson, being 46 at the time, I believe, he's 47 now. 46 at the time. Not too much knowledge. Great knowledge in striking. We know Anderson Silva when it came to striking. This guy was no punk. Like I said, he used to play with his opponents. His hands were so fast. Freddie Roach, he used to train with Freddie Roach, the high-level professional trainer of Manny Pacquiao. And Freddie Roach even said this guy has great hands. Great hands. High-level hands. And still, to go in there and lose like Julio did with the amount of experience he had, it was definitely mind-blowing to me. But nonetheless, he goes on and knocks out Tito Ortiz. We all know that Tito Ortiz never had the greatest hands. So, I mean, is it a nice little feather in his cap? Sure. But at the same time, it was Tito Ortiz. No disrespect to Tito Ortiz. A great fighter, a great champion in his time, but definitely nowhere near boxing material. Nowhere near. Nonetheless, this is by far the best Jake Paul has to offer, has put on the table. Because this is what I'm thinking of. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to look for that big star, that big payday, that Nate Diaz, that Conor McGregor, that Jorge Masvidal. And that's cool. Don't get me wrong, but those are going to come. Those are going to come. If Jake is really trying his best to be a boxer, if he's really trying to be a champ, he's going to have to face what he can get, not what he wants. There's a difference between what you could get and what you want. Now, don't get me wrong. He went after Tommy Fury, a notable fighter, but a notable challenger. He has some boxing experience himself. He went and challenged Hasim Rahman. Unfortunately, that fight fell out. There's a lot of number of reasons why that fell out. No one's really ever going to know. No one's really going to know, so it's no point even speculating. So now he's actually taking on a really good challenger in Anderson Silva. Of course, people are going to say, well, he's older. Yeah, but at the same time, I promise you, you put Anderson Silva in there with a Hasim Rahman, with a Ben Askren, maybe even a Tyron Woodley, and a Tommy Fury. Promise you, Anderson Silva will smoke all of them. You put anybody in there with all the opponents that Jake Paul's went against, he will get smoked. Anderson Silva will smoke every single one of them when it comes to striking. You cannot touch Anderson Silva when it comes to striking. And that's why it's actually very interesting that Jake Paul wants to take this on. You know, he is definitely heading in that right direction. Definitely heading in that right direction, upping his level. Taking what he can get. Taking all challengers as much as he can get them. Because it's gonna happen. You know, you got Nate Diaz, who's gonna be out of his UFC contract, and there's that high potential fight that could happen still. You know, I'm sure Conor McGregor one day will want that as well. You still got Floyd Mayweather, who's in the mix with all this talks about Conor McGregor and this is that. Not sure if that's ever gonna happen, but you never know. But here we are, October 29th, Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. What do you guys think about that? Me, I'm actually kind of excited to see, and I actually hope this fight does, go through, because we know what already happened. He was supposed to face Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury somehow couldn't make it to the States. Whatever the case may be, there was plenty of excuses there. Who knows? Whatever. Then he goes on with Hasim Rahman. There was a lot of games, a lot of negotiation play around there. Didn't happen. Who knows what happened? Now we got this Anderson Silva fight in October. Is this going to happen? I don't know. Do I want it to happen? 100% yes, I do. I really, really do want this to happen because this will be a very fun fight. This will actually be a very good test for Jake. Because yes, Anderson Silva did get knocked out, but it was in the UFC. And we know Jake. Jake has hands. At first in the beginning, it was different. But now we saw what he was able to do to Tyron Woodley, even though Tyron Woodley isn't the striker. And we know Ben Askren isn't a striker. But he was able to put these guys out. And, these guys have gotten hit before by other people. So it is what it is. But now, can he do the exact same thing to Anderson Silva? That's the main question right there. Can he actually be able to match Anderson Silva's hands, his speed? I would give the power to Jake, honestly. But then again, who knows? Maybe Anderson Silva does have some power in there. Somewhere in there. Who knows? But there's nothing 100% official. This is a very much speculation, very much rumor. I want to say honestly, it's like 9 times out of 10, 9.9% that this fight is actually going to happen. A 9.9 out of 10, this fight is going to happen. That's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. But you guys let me know in the comments. Do you think it's going to happen or is it not? Do you think it's going to take place or not? Would you want Jake Paul to face somebody else and Anderson Silva to face somebody else? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.